Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking for Bharat India on this day, February 17, 2022, Thursday, 3:45 a.m. नमस्कार, मैं सूरज सिंह सिविल इंजीनियर भारत इंडिया से बोल रहा हूँ। आज का दिन फरवरी 17, 2022, बृहस्पतिवार सुबह के 3:45। एंड बैक टू यू अबाउट सेम टॉक, सेम एपिसोड, क्वालिटी, कोऑर्डिनेशन. This is my name. You can see my email ID, which is suraj_engineer@yahoo.co.uk. If you wish, you can write to me on this email about question of this talk, question of coordination in engineering, and question of communication in engineering, as well as quality issue. I shall be glad to see your mails if you can. You can see all my certificates here. This is my competency certificate. It's for International Professional Engineer India, Bharat. This is on validity for 5 years, and this is renewed thereafter. This is third renewal. This is certificate chartered engineer based on corporate membership of IEI. This is fellow membership of IEI. Quality projects works, coordination world, communication network, concrete, civil field engineering, reliable engineers, work contract safety, designs, construction methods, claims organizations, etc., etc., being titled. And you have seen some files I'm going to display, and this is regarding quality file, coordination file, that is as engineers detailed deliberations. Before this, I shall like to speak something about BIM. We have conferred already with that, but BIM is a software, you know very well, I know very well, but I have not practiced that yet. But I have practiced coordination engineering on sites, various sites. Whatever projects I have shown to you, all these I have relations, and many more details are available. In future, I shall like to show you all these details, something and something not, regarding coordinations. There's no limit, you can say. As I explained to you about coordination of school building, that is this one, you can say school building. Last time, if you see, I showed to you that building, that is school building here, plate 1. Has only deliberated about this building, which was constructed in 1986-87, and I worked on this building from beginning for construction for some company known as Alkit, Alatia Contracting, and trading company for Department Civil Engineering. This was, you can say, not very big project, but at that time it was okay. We did RCC work for this building. There were about a group of buildings in this school. As I said yesterday, 6-7 buildings. It was assembly hall, double height and 18-meter span, RCC, then workshop, then classrooms, and then other classrooms, laboratory areas, or you can say some other structures, mosque, external works. As usual, it happens. In this building, from beginning itself, there were many problems for construction. And first, I discussed with you yesterday that it was about raising foundations, because strata below ground, lime rock, good one for such type of structure, which is a maximum 2.5 story or 3 story, generally 2 story high, without any basement and without any other infrastructure except external as well as internal infrastructure. In this, we had to raise foundations. Design were done, I think, ordinarily, because this was not only one project. There were many other projects in this category. In that time, those days, 14 schools had been running, and you can say this was one about, to that time, it was 14 million reals. At that time, there was no projects. It was a good one, about many thousand cubic meters of concrete, RCC. And when we were facing taking a lot of time in excavation because of rock, question was raised, bearing capacity is all right, means why not to use bearing capacity? We have already reached. Why to raise it? Why to excavate more for no gains? And this issue was raised by ourselves and approved by consultant later on. Consultant means, you can say, designers itself. Qatar Consult Group was consultant for our management job. They had a duty to supervise this job, administer contract was lump sum fixed price. as we were discussing what's contract was that one. And that time it was my good training, you can say, kind, because I looked after for that company in totality, except for some financial matters which were taken care of by head office. I was in charge of site as well as of, well, that's different. What I was saying is about this project. This project we started, and we started with boundary wall itself because there was some problem with others, and we then excavated. It was good fun, and they said, okay, don't do full excavation, just raise it by 50 centimeter, and so we reduced that. We reduced excavation work. The problem was because the levels were to be raised, all drawings were to be revised with the drawing below foundations. Of course, it took some time. We did it. We had to revise all levels, all foundation levels. You can say we proposed revision. It took some time in those days because no computers were there, and these levels were approved after some comments, this and that. I noticed that this was a good work. This is a good work, concrete work. And there was another issue at that time. We raised questions to when we started this work. We do foundations work, and it's written in drawing that you cast these those beams, in foundations. Isolated footings were connected by certain beams. Generally, we call them foundation beams, though these won't take in love. But now some people call you provide beams at plinth level. Now these beams were at foundation level, formation level, connecting all foundations were there, footings were there. This connected by beams. Maybe this is provided for whatever reason. Maybe for seismic action because seismic zone is not seismic zone, or maybe it was provided for stability itself, you can say. But in drawing specifications, you do it. It's monolithic casting, and monolithic casting, you understand what's monolithic casting. Now, whatever you cast means it's one time. One time means if you cast footings, so then you have to cast the beams also. And if we complied with that, I faced this problem. I said, no, it's not easy. First I was scared if I raise this issue, maybe this you can't do it. Means then I said, no, it's a problem. Means we have to cut. How can you provide dowels in shutters, or we can provide shutters like that? Means you have to do cut shutters on sides where beams are coming. There's installed within two conditions. This means 2 or 3 sides will be affected because sometimes there are three beams connected to a footing, and that means 3 ends you have to cut, 3 sides have to cut, and this will first of all cause inconvenience in fabrication of formwork, as well as repetition would be a problem, and you cannot find exact work there. So I raised this question because the consultant, I'm here to help you for everything. So I told them, this is, you have written here, your design is monolithic, but we want to do footings one time, and then second stage we want to pour beams. We'll leave dowels in shutters. That person was quite mature, that structural engineer on site, and said, okay, no problem, I allow you this way. So this is the first kind of, you can say, proposal. So we agreed that we will cast these, we'll work on footings first, and then we'll join with beams, provided dowels are placed in beams. There was no problem for us. This first I'm going to tell you means what's happened. It has happened that way. And then for means we have to raise levels first. We changed drawings, we design drawings were to be revised. We raised all levels, and it affected many services as well. Because for example, there was connections of telephone lines. Levels were given, now these were raised, means beams also came into picture. Somewhere, for example, plinth beam along with grade beam, grade slab. And whatever was not a big issue, but we did it. And you can say quantities of foundation, footings remain same, and formation level blinding remains same. Then stub columns depth was reduced actually, footings were same. It impacted upon stub columns, and you know what is stub column means, column between top of footing to grade level, grade slab level, it's called stuff column. So quantity of foundations remains same, but footings remains same, but what happened is stuff columns was impacted upon. And of course waterproofing work was impacted on horizontal, no problem, vertical. I'm just giving this brief for you understand those days we did this type of coordination work also. Then there was another issue about how to pour all areas, how to go means we did mass excavation in grade, means mass excavation means we used our machine and excavated all wherever was possible, and where was not possible we did separate excavation. But generally I remember we did, because depth was not much now and it was hardly around 1 meter we had to go through, and we used a machine, shovel, actually we used to call that shovel machine and excavator, and we did all. It didn't take much time for excavation, and I still remember there were 300 columns, exactly more than that, but I'm just remember 300 columns we have to pour in this small area. These 6 buildings, as you can see, these buildings are like this, and we did that easily, comfortably, and by using pumps and concrete pumps, and you can say we use to get concrete from concrete pump, use concrete pump for pouring and concrete from ready mix plant. I still remember one time when I was just doing first, I think few trucks of concrete brought in. There's a question of slump. I ignored slump. I didn't check, but by chance that consultant head was available. This was called project manager consultant, and he caught me. You didn't check this slump. Truck has already gone in. Retrieved truck from site, checked slump, and it was not according to requirement. It was more than that, and he then forced me to reject this and say you don't know job. He did not approve my CV till that time, and I was held up. Well, that's something I'm trying to say. And another point happened with casting on slab. Casting on slab, first floor, I think, 7th, whatever it was. The slab we casting adjacent to area assembly hall, adjacent to that one. And by chance, our machine broke. I think we were casting the ready mix, and there's some broken supply, and site mixing was not allowed. Okay, we got a consultant was not available. I thought I want to object because already it's approved. We provided construction joint there at that time, prepared some stop end, and we stopped concrete, and I didn't know procedure about that. Next day when we came, it was a very small quantity left, maybe 1 cubic meter, 2 cubic meter. I asked people to complete this. What did we mix on? We poured that concrete, and that person came. That British guy came, say, what you have done? And we are just pouring this. Who told you pour this? Asked me a question. What have you so already approved this block? No, you should have taken another approval. You can't do like that. And how, on what basis you have done it? I then referred me to specification. He showed me, look what's written here. Mandate says that you cannot do it before lapse of 24 to 48 hours, and you have done it now. Take it out. What you say? It's okay, fine. We have to take it out. It was still wet, It was still wet, not set, not hardened. So of course it took some time to take that out. So I still remember that instant. The specifications say you can't, because in those days the OPC, it was not something else like today we have GBS or PFA mix or microsilica. So maybe there was some technical reason for that. The specification provided that before lapse of 24 hours you can't touch it. And you have to make inspection, make this construction joint good, inspect it, take another approval, make this construction joint good by scabbling, by removing all the tins, and then only after cleaning, tidy, everything, all services recheck, you can pour it. So I learned that also. Means I thought everything was fine, but procedure is procedure, We did that, no problem. And then also they saw an incident, and there were many more such incidents what happened in one fascia wall. Fascia wall, I'm just telling that in fascia wall. It was there's some problem in shutters or in supports. Some one side bulged. Bulged means opened or moved out of position. This forms shutters still remain in position, and this was quite visible. Despite it was fixed, I should have been good. But by chance one day, I said we'll repair it, no problem. My bad time one day, this head of consultants were visiting site, and he noticed this. The voice is not straight, voice coming out. And he made an investigation and said, no, it's not acceptable. You give me a solution. It's not acceptable. You remove this. What do you mean? And I said, no, you just chip it out, or you scowl it, and you repair it. Well, it took a lot of time, and many days we worked on that for shipping out, and it was inspected. That supervisor, clerk of work, he viewed it, he talked on phone to consultant that the steel is in position because it's not while it's shipped, it's still not seen. And then he said, okay, you apply epoxy repair on this, epoxy mortar repair. And we did epoxy repair at the time, so it was it was a very bad time for me. You don't know how to work, how to understand this. You could not know why this side bulge. Question was, this means either bolts were not fixed properly or there were no bolts at all. The bolts was there, holes was seen. What happened? This happened. Some you didn't check it. Well, it was also gone then. Likewise, there were many issues, but not that impactable issues. And then also we continued this. Well, I'm trying to show you. Then there's another issue. How do you pour it? Means I explained it before as well. How to pour this portion. There was one slab. If you see from one end, there's another one. You can say lecture hall area. This slab was big one, considering in comparison to the other one. And the problem was on that because of access on site or circulation area. As the structure have been done, our tower crane could not have proper access to cover all area, and there's a problem of pump, how to do it. So that supervisor could not know how shall we do it. While approving slab inspection, he said, okay, tell me how shall you do it. I want to know it before you start that. Well, he has complete right to know how shall we do it because it's concrete slab. And you remember it's 1986, 87, 86. In those days, people didn't have anything good about this. There was no advancement. So I didn't know what he says. You tell me how to do it. Give me a method statement. Might have talked to his head again, and he told me, okay, ask him for method statement. He asked me, you have to give me a method statement. I know method statement doesn't mean anything specific, but how to do it? I had some other engineer from Lebanon. He said, he's asking for this, what to do? I told him, Khalid, don't worry, we'll look after this. Let me think on this. I thought on this, how to do it. Whole day I was in problem. Then next time I took that. Okay, I'll make it, don't worry. There was no proper formal system of method statement that time, which generally means I never did that. But this time, a document side diary we used to write every day. So in that itself, I briefed in. I made a sketch of that. Where shall we keep our equipment of transit mixture? Where shall we keep our tower crane is already there, and we have to place more pumps. I discussed with the ready mix supplier, and I prepared some sketch and wrote what we are going to do on that. It covered all scope, and it's okay. We discuss with his head, and it's okay. If you can do this, we do it. But I will be there to see this. Okay, you are welcome. No problem. So I had to take personal involvement in that. And remember, I was surprised to know you did it successfully. We did job very successfully, and that time I knew what this method was. Of course, later on I learned formally also on other jobs. And what I'm saying then, this was, we used to in those days record daily job record that side diary, and we used to attend contract meetings every month. The time was monthly, and I used to conduct our coordination meeting with subcontractors. That was technical and coordination meeting it was called. It's conduct about 1 week before site meeting or contract meeting, calling all subcontractors and also requesting consultant representative to join. So whatever we talked of officially, and we had to record minutes of that ourselves. And those minutes means complete technical meeting it was. Each and every drawing was discussed, each and every metal submittal was discussed. And we have problems with the questions were responsible not received from consultant itself or engineer itself for what reason, and costing issue, this issue, that issue, approval issue, drawing issue, means whatever issues are technical. And these were minuted, and then these were provided, copies provided to engineer itself to know. And when this was done separately, there's no need of this scope to cover in main meeting. So only references were given, the minutes were, these are minutes we have attached, and this meeting was conducted. And there is only some problem here which I have to resolve. These problems were announced in that meeting, in portion of agenda of when this last meeting comes, coordination meeting comes, so that solutions were derived. And this we used to do generally. It was a good, coordination work, technical work both. And I still remember it took many hours sometimes when we used to conduct those technical meetings. Because many subcontractors, electrical, mechanical, HVAC, plumbing, and others, and our own work. Because there were so many clashes between HVAC and structure, there were so many clashes between others and others, electromechanical itself, and means we had to discuss. And every contractor has its own interest problems. That it's not one company. Electrical contractors separate, mechanical contractors separate, HVAC separate, plumbing separate, and we two are there as main contractors. So always, communication was a problem. No mails in those days. If something electrical wants from mechanical, generally it used to happen. Because to resolve competency issues, compatibility issues, means what electrical power should be required if there's a machine, for example, chiller machine, or a handling unit machine, or some other pumping issues, many issues to exist. And everybody has to place orders, and place orders means they must get approvals of those items. And this is a procedure of coordination, communication, and general procedures and contract. So it was interesting, of course, we're not civil engineering exactly, it's coordination. That's why I'm interested in coordination. Coordination means to do job exactly. You cannot do job if you're not ready with everything. So if you don't conduct any coordination, I think project will stop. It won't work. Because you can't simply blindly do job, you have to get approvals of everything, and this is tested as well. I still remember many meetings we conducted in those days. And in contract meeting also it took time, we had to discuss our issues. Quality we had to discuss, other accidents we had to discuss, or something else we had to discuss, everything was discussed. Why project is behind, why it is ahead, what's the reason, how should I go to recover. I still remember I prepared many recovery programs. Weekly programs we used to give, 2 weekly programs we had to give, recovery program we had to give, monthly, the quarterly programs we had to give. Likewise, good work, and then correspondences, communications, contract issues, time extension issues, whatever. Many times I wrote to them, this rain day today, this rain I recorded. But it's reply, there's no meaning, you can record, that's fine, but you can't claim anything on this. If it's rain, means you should know that it's the season of rain, and if you want to claim on that, then you waste your time. Don't claim it, because conditions clearly state in contract that bidder should know what is usual geology, what is usual geography, what is your climatic conditions. In this region your project is located, we are expected to be experienced contractor in this region. So if you tell us this was rain day, means you should not tell us like this, because we are not consider that. You must consider that in your tender time. There were so many days for rain, and this will be a kind of inefficient production or not full production, that you should know. So same way, he says he tried me something, he taught us something. This way, what is lump sum, meaning fixed price, and also we had BOQs for every item, and usually the quantity surveyors to call them, means quantity survey is itemized bill of quantity, we call it itemized lump sum, we call it. And this purpose is very important. You may ask this question, when there is lump sum, that specification drawing, what's the purpose of bill of quantities? And that can be a good question to be asked as a professional. When my drawings are clear, specifications are clear, scope is clear, why should I worry about quantities and bill of quantities? It's a good question and also a good answer. It's okay that this work is lump sum. It's agreed. You will not be paid a single penny additionally, provided there is no variation. If there is variation of plus or minus, or you can say extra or omission, that shall be counted separately. It's like that. Now that there is nothing can be paid to you in addition to what has been priced in and agreed. In a lump sum, there is very strict control. You can say total amount that you agreed, it cannot change. Fixed price cannot change, it has to stay there. If there is checkup, audit, or scrutiny during tendering acceptance time, if your price is fixed, whatever it is, and calculations say that your price should be more, it cannot be increased. Whatever difference is there between agreed price and real price, which you should be, that you have to digest as contractor. And if you cannot digest, you can't be responsible for this contract, somebody else would get it. And if it is reverse, means actual price should be lower than what you quoted for, in that case they would ask you, this is an error, do you want to accept this new price which is lower than your price? And of course you are bound to accept, because calculation error. So what I want to say, there are so many complexities financially, technically, coordination wise, physically, supervision wise, you can say like this. And then so many clashes in external services, and every country has different regulations, and that country too had. So I'm just trying to explain what is meaning of coordination. I had to write sometimes technical issues to them about problems, resolutions. I still remember that I did planning, you can say scheduling, on my own, because there were no separate engineers. I worked a lot on drawing board itself to chart out bar chart, and I used to take the document home, work for many hours. I submitted that plan, and there was a long meeting with me. I think it's for a couple of hours meeting on that bar chart. I'd explain them what the expected question, the value of questions every time, and where to respond. And then some comments were written, okay, you incorporate this and incorporate this, etc. And then the plan was approved. And with that, we have to submit every monthly achievements on that. We had to submit progress report itself. Progress report means there was a standard performer according to agenda, but important point was progress report percentages. I charted out some formula to get that one, and it was successful. In fact, for purpose of every time we used to write there is delay on this item and this delay on this item, this is reason, or we are ahead. This also means this was not considerable ahead. There was some problems in materials all time. We used to call material status, so material delivery schedule, updated material delivery, submaterial approval and delivery schedule submitted. It's also very important, and also same way drawing schedule. Drawings means shop drawing. Likewise, we had to discuss all this in 2 meetings generally. So this was procedure of coordination. Metal submittal is also part of, though it's a management part, so part of metal, but you have to check every item. When you propose some material, or you have to make sure that this should be according to approved list, and this should satisfy specifications as well. Maybe sometimes specifications are not clear, maybe this is obsolete and there is an advancement. So materials available in market, first of all you have to be sure that it's same one as from approved list. Means there's another procedure, it's not coordination, commercial procedure. I'm talking of coordination here in this talk, is important. Means at every step you can say, now we have to consider coordination at every step. We have to read specifications, and not only specification project one, but also specifications as a standard specifications. Qatar at the time called it Qatar National Building Specifications. Now it's different name, QCS, but that was Qatar National Building Specifications, QNBS it was called in the abbreviated form. And I was very interested to see that, read that. Means you could read like a book, technical book. And every time when we started some new activity, I used to read those. Without that, I never did anything, because I was caught in slump and temperatures. So temperature was also a very big issue. Concrete temperature and plaster temperature inside, working with hot weather conditions. And of course concrete was not a big issue in this case, because we usually did all concrete during night time, during night or evening hours, not generally after 11 a.m. morning. Not then, because of temperature issues. Concrete temperature according to QNBS and according to BS codes was between 4 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius that we had to maintain. So we selected those times which suited this, like evening working. We say okay, we start concrete at 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night, and we'll continue up to morning. Or we say okay, we start at 5 o'clock evening, depending on temperature and depending on availability of concrete, because batching plants were engaged. It is not necessary to agree for in advance, they will deliver. Pumps should be available, required pump. Of course, batching plants, they no issue with pump, and transport mixers are available. Main issue always was pump. We used to say, if you don't want pump, if you're not interested in pump, you can provide, you can give transport mix, no problem. You have to arrange the tower crane, mobile crane. Many times we had mobile cranes we got somewhere. Columns were never done by pumps, because it's very slow activity. 4 meters high, 3.5 meters high columns used to pour one time using our skip or tower crane and skip and mobile crane. Many times we got concrete pump also, if you had many columns, say 15, 20, 30 columns one time. In that case we used to get pump also. and it was good pump those days, keeping in view. I'm just trying to tell my experience. And I still remember one time what happened. We were doing parapet beam, upstand portion of beam, and I could not get pump due to some reason, but it's only 2 cubic meter concrete. Can you imagine? Only 2 cubic meter. But it was on roof parapet. I mean parapet, upstand beam, not exactly parapet, because slab portion of beam was already cast and only part of upstand. We had what to do now. We had transfer mixer had come, and maximum time allowed was 2 hours for that. So I engaged all people there. We could not go up to some second story, and we just lined up people en route, workers en route, and we had plastic buckets to collect this concrete from mixer. And it took, of course, less than 2 hours, but we provided many workers there. It's an unusual condition in those days, using workers and transporting this concrete by skip of bucket. I'm just giving this. Then there were many other instances where we had to face problems, and of course, false ceiling. I still remember we had to draw sketches of ceiling plans. We had to draw working sketches, working drawings of tiling arrangements, and of course roofing we did, which is an important item. We used to, there was specification in QNBS that you should use foam concrete is also not mentioned there, but it is lightweight material, cement mortar. You had to fill in roof, just to form basis for waterproofing, and this you have to do giving 1.25 to 1.5% gradient slope. And still remember scabble hole slab and services were done. Chillers plinths were installed, all were done, and I still remember that time we did good work on that. Means it was ordinary structure, and did that. Just trying to brief you how we used to do everything manually in those days. I used to plot on paper itself S-curve to produce progress status, because from bar chart it was not much clear. So I had my own formula and used to calculate actual progress achieved, and that was reflected on that graph S-curve. Sometimes it was behind and sometimes ahead, but not much different, approximately same. We used to apply weightage factor about each activity, and concrete was very important activity because I had to do on site, and I will know it. Materials are readily available, finishing materials and all those, you have to install them. Well, it's a story behind that, and it was a good experience that time. We had to conduct all first fix tests, first fix and services, second fix we had to do. Likewise, this was, and I still remember some incidents everywhere. But okay, this is life. I was too young at that time. In 1987, when I was not around 30, I was, I think, yes, around 30. So we had to do that. This was experience of that school. Then we can say here also. Just this is one building in this is in Baghdad. This was in Baghdad in 1982. 1982 it was. Just a minute, please. Let me see temperature. I feel cold again. I don't know why. Yeah, I should cold. Temperature dropped. I think so. It is. I think must be dropping. Let me see answer. 13 degrees, so it has gone down from 14 to 13 degrees, and it is 49 degree dew point. That's the problem here. Dew point is 9 degrees. I'm feeling a little cold. Oh, no problem. I'll cold, little cold. I should figure something. This Earth Thavra, Daral Thavra. This is let me see if I can put off my free charge. And I put it off. Let me just in place. And this is the building in Al Thawra. This is a tower portion, building tower portion up to 20 something, 20 stories something. And I started at the terrace of fourth floor. Fourth floor, the structural work, fairface elevations, we used to call fasciae, bigger size columns, of course, bigger size columns. And it's a good one. This is, as I said, in that school building, there were also good columns. I missed to tell that was some were T-shaped, some were cross-shaped, star we used to call, T-shape, L-shape, particularly in assembly hall. L-shaped column, big size, 1.2 meter by 4.4 meter. L-shape or T-shape, star also, and rectangular as well. And I was told that this was based on working stress method. Here too it was same situation. It was 1982 and I started from fourth floor itself. It was subcontract and I represent subcontractor. This was Yarodic and Associates, a UK registered company, and contractor from Jordan, United Engineers. And it's government of Iraq client. I learned a lot on this project when I joined. I did not know project detailings, but I'd seen many, even say, architectural package drawings, structural package drawings, services package drawings, but we were involved in RCC work, so I had to study all that. It was very interesting, powerful project to learn, and throughout up to even sometime 2 o'clock we used to study these details, each and every detail. Our main job was concreting this tower. I mean, we have to provide steel reinforcement, formwork, and if any blockouts or inserts, and then pour it after surfaces are installed. It was really interesting, in fact, to do concrete in fairface. At that time was very important item. All external surfaces fairface. It had as usual components, columns, walls. Walls were also there, RCC walls. And for lifts of our external faces, where they would have to provide dry cladding of dry marble stone. And our job was concrete, and it was planned, big slab of towers, big square, considerable square meter. There were boxes as well and fascia, and it was very complicated in the sense time wise, active wise. I will study a lot in drawings, provide steel reinforcement, and then approval of this. After that, closing your columns, shutters, fabrication of survey before that. And the main point in this was that slab was to be repeated every 21 days cycle. 21 days cycle was allowed for that. Now you have to do complete work of columns, complete work of fascia, and complete work of that slab in period of 21 days. And it was done, actually, to be very frank. Day and night work, if not day and night, sometimes at least up to late night. A lot of work we had to do. Steel we had to do ourselves, shutters we had to do ourselves. Concrete was assigned by a ready-mix plant. This was the responsibility of that contractor, and we used to do all this, though it was not our material contract. All materials used to get proprietary materials or temporary materials, or you can say whatever permanent work materials, or were provided by main contractor. So it was not contract wise very big work, but activity wise, concrete wise, it is a good one. We did successfully. I faced 2 or 3 problems on this project. One column was outlined, is mislocated. Due to whatever reason, I don't want to blame others, though it was not my fault, yet I had to face that fault. And at the end, this column was removed. To be very frank, it happened. Same way, one wall was bulged, bulging, opened. We did not use tie bolts that time, and it bulged, and nobody agreed for that. And they said this engineer does not have any experience. Then my question was raised on my education also, unfortunately. But what I learned, inspection, how to be done. In that time when there was no quality system, there's no such procedures, and here scrutiny was too high. Inspection is scrutiny. Pre-construction, pre-concrete layout checking, vertical and horizontal checking, and also plumb line means very, very difficult. It's very difficult using thread lines all time. But we learned once. You see, when you are new, you start something, you have to face 1 or 2 attempts to know what actually an engineer wants to make sure about work. And it was good. First time I got delayed. Concrete, we had to cast 4 columns, but this took 2 or 3 days for approval, because every time we rejected. And this procedure which taught us you have to give me like this, and we must understand, then it remained okay. Now that approval, that time there was no, we could understand pre-concrete, post-concrete surveys, but that person did. My column as said was caught in survey only post-concrete. Unfortunately it was, but it did. What I say, we used to plan that project, and 21 day cycle in those days was very difficult. We did it, and this project was a lesson for us. And we used to do finishing also in parallel to other buildings, this one. And what happened once, I still remember, I did not notice that we had plenty of aggregate or not, but required aggregate quantity. But I was forced to start slab. I say slab concrete, I missed to note that batching plant did not have enough sand. Well, it was arranged later on, but it was my error, miss. You should know what is required. You can't say I'm off, I did not buy. Even though it was main contractor's responsibility, but we have our responsibility too. Well, it was an interesting job. Freezing, we started freezing time, January I was there, when even tapes used to freeze. And it was good one, a good experience. I can say first lesson in my life overseas. This is the first lesson. I previously Katata explained to you that, not first one, this is the first one. And I still know that engineer has to think of quality and coordination both. And if you don't coordinate, you have to face problems. That's why I used to read drawings. But I was told that's your responsibility. You have to check what work you do is right or not. And then only you can call an engineer to check. You don't run for if work's not ready. I was forced by my own management here to expedite this. You have to produce this within as much as possible less time. But you see, work is work. I told them, if I don't know what you're asking for. It cannot be done means cannot be done. It happens sometimes. They ask me, my administration, I want this in 4 days. I said, no, it's not possible. It can't be done. No, 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 you think on if it can be done. I thought it, I don't waste time. I'm doing my job, let me do my job. That's it. You don't tell me what I do. When it is done, it shall be done. This is job, this activity, and we have standard of checking here. Don't try it, don't interfere. That's our point. You can say, what do you call it? Interruption. Don't interrupt us. If you interrupt us, then we shall be interrupted. That's it. So you can say this was another type of good concrete was done here also. Because it's a cold weather sometimes, sometimes very hot weather, both were there. So this was another way on one slab. It's the cracking, Today, when there's a British person of that contracting company visit here, so was angry on site. Why this cracking? Tell me this and that. What's the reason? He asked me. I didn't answer anything. But what to do with cracking? You have to repair, that's all. It was because the cracking was common in this OPC structures, and the cracking was very common. That's why I'm giving you this example. How do I say? Well, it's not. I will not give more examples on this. I'll take later on. If you see, there's another. If you see, there's another one. Of course, it's another one. Sorry. Another plate test. I'll now go to this page. I'll go to explanation of. I say this is quality engineering and coordination engineering. I'll go to coordination engineering now, and here is what you say. I'll discuss this later on, not now, because this. I'll go to another plate. Yeah, there's another file I like to show you before going to that, which I missed. I downloaded that file yesterday, and I like to show you that file, but not discuss anything on that. Please, I'll show you that file. That's an important one as well, from many points of views. That file is Salal, this equipment structure applying. Where it's gone? Let me see. It's gone. Coordination practical. I think it's that one. Yeah, it's this one. And let's see. I just show you that file. I'm not going to. This is a copyright issue. I downloaded it. I could not thoroughly study that one. And this file. You can see. It's this file here, and it is BIM Corner, practical guide to start with BIM coordination. And there's an introduction to become BIM coordinator, and there's a copyright here. You can see a copyright issue, so it's prohibited to write. If I share this file with you, I have to take permission from them. And I'm not interested in that. I'm just trying to show you what is that file, and I not discuss anything. It says this person is Ignacy, I-G-N-A-C. Ignacy is author of this, and he can teach BIM coordination, but he tries to say what's the guide for. It's everyone interested in a subject of BIM coordination, in particular professionals and students associated with architectural engineering coordination industry. Prerequisites means you have to use this guide to go through from A to Z coordination, and that's what it's saying. I'm not I was just trying to say this is information what's about BIM saying who can become a BIM coordinator. That's required, which is not a question of copyright. You can say generally BIM coordinator is a fairly fresh profession with no predefined framework and no established path as to how you may become one of them. It's a position for people who like learning, etc., etc. So just for introduction, this is some what is meaning of that, what is required, what are skills, and also responsibilities are given, what responsibilities are, and then what are roles. Likewise, there are, and then it's a role of coordinator, and some roles, responsibilities, etc. And actually BIM coordinator does what is saying. This is some sketches giving about this issue, how to coordinate. Then it's something which is sometimes looks very fine, but practically speaking, this isn't anything specific. Just for telling you where this file is, I'm trying to say you. I've not written to this person yet. I want to share it. No, I don't think if it's any meaningful. I'll show if it's not meaningful, no meaning. And that's what it says. So I'll just try to show you what it is. I'm going to close this file because I don't want to unnecessarily create problems for myself. And so it's gone now. Now what I say important point is what is coordination? What is coordination, and what is this coordination says that let's say NCR, for example. I was talking about we're talking some points here, and it was some definitions were there which we are involved in. As actually what are these definitions of these terms we have to see. And this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, S. Is that you see? It says here site memorandums. We talked about site memorandum. Let us see what is that. And before that it was hold on please. This is whatever being particular required transported on that particular day. All right. Now where is D has come exactly? I don't know why it's come D. Should be something else. Maybe I've taken previous. Okay. This is site diary. It's RC site diary. So if so required, depend on site contact requirement, more points for records may be included. So that is inside diary are taken, activities completed, activities planned, workers strength supervision, and that is supervision strength, whether data equipment arrived, progress is all side diary. I think I had explained this before. We may also repeat it if it's better. Let us see what side diary we start with. Also there are many other issues. And so let us see what are these points here. And this is about BIM here, so there's a little confusion of it is BIM here. It says I've given you BIM info. Wait a minute, see what is BIM. Let me see what is this. I had taken some my own notes. क्या हो रहा है? Yes, it is here. So it was in just for information. It is here. I like to reconsider it today because it's very important point. If you're not clear about this, we cannot do anything. Now I'm not going to about directly to involve with BIM software. I'm not interested in that because I know that theory is one part, but reality is another one. And this BIM, this building information modeling, and I have written about this. This is same that this coordinator is a relatively ambiguous one, means not very clear. Theoretical is okay if you take it in that way. You put one model, then put another model. You have to make many models first. Architectural model, then you have to make a structural model, then you have to make services, each services model, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, or whatsoever. And if you have that facility in designs, you can do, otherwise it's time consuming, of course. But practically this happen, that's the point here, because designs are never done at one time. That's true. Structural designs cannot be done directly, it takes time. Also architectural designs, there can be many changes all the time. The theoretical talking is one part, but you're talking reality. I'm saying this says BIM is building information. This is just for information, my own understanding. I'm not going through that detailed software and how does it work. I don't know that. I know that in training. Based on experience, I'm saying this. That was not there. I know. And that's the important part here. We have to understand that. How does it work? Who's responsible for that? And says building information modeling. This BIM coordinator is a relatively ambiguous one. The second thing, the understanding, which I'm explaining the what's reason behind that. You should have the coordinator or several coordinators installed within a project. So that's all right. Organization whose responsibility could include something, and that's once they are developing and maintaining BIM protocols. Developing and maintaining BIM protocols and BIM execution. Developments and maintaining BIM protocols and BIM execution, plans and other documentation. Ensuring protocols are adhered to defined requirement or criteria. Managing data sets, coordinating stakeholders in terms of their respective roles within BIM process, and ensuring accuracy of models in data sets by establishing quality control procedures, clash detection and clash avoidance. Clash detection and clash avoidance, preparing BIM coordination program and progress reports, providing training and assistance to project team, and explaining procedures and standards, sourcing and maintaining model content with their shared data and inter-model relationships, making sure that these are recorded and monitored. Coordinating data modeling and related management and listening with design team and client. Coordinating handover of information and project milestones. These are just brief requirements which are given somewhere in PI modeling, and this can be understood how my point is different. Is it really worth or practical for detailed runs of designs and projects? As you can understand from this guide which I showed to you, that it is theoretical. Likewise, you must have all models first. All models. You can say it is not difficult. It may not be difficult, but if you can do fine. Means it's like you have to merge or you have to superimpose on architectural model, your structural model, and then on structural model you have to impose services models, all services models. It looks like in talking, but practically is it feasible? That's the point. Based on my experience, I can say it may not work. In theory, it's fine, but because you see, what is clash? My point is that what is clash? Is clash or is compatibility or you may say interfaces? What are terms used in that? We may say clash, we is calling collision also, okay, we say collision itself. And then is collision or clash depends on locations of items, how where they are located, or there's a definition of minimum requirement of some gap or space. But it's not enough. We have to see many other points. It is on-site decisions many times. We cannot even project on your work before doing work. And there are so many other points that you cannot decide in one go. It's very, very important note point sometimes. Let me give a very small example. Let us say I want to start plastering. Okay, I want to start plastering a wall. And you say it's very easy. You don't plaster. What's there? No structural concern, no technological concern, just you mix some mortar and apply. Miss that. That's true. You're right. Practically, activity wise, it's not a big deal, but you have to see that plaster is done only when services inserts are over. You got my point? Services insert. Which services inserts? First services, first fix inserts. Example, electrical conduits, boxes positions. You got my point? Boxes, case in, I mean switch panel boxes or other boxes. And you can say, okay, conduits are there. And conduits there means you cannot plaster, then how can you do that? You have to first construct wall after structure is over. And before structure is over, you have to do structural activities like you have to provide certain inserts in whole slab vertically as well as horizontally. If it's wall in wall itself, which is columns in columns itself, means you can't say that shop drawings are ready all time. Such coordination, detailed done, fixes coordination can be done. We can't just do it in one go. Even if at design time, let us see, we have every aspect ready, we have all models ready, but we don't have anything ready as first fix. It's not ready. Maybe it is, you may say, but that is not workable. Say we show conduits on schematic drawings of electrical engineering. Okay, this is just curves from this point to that point, from that point to this point. That is not exact location. Not exact location of pipe or conduit to go in. Until, because this can be done only using schematic drawing. We say schematic means not shop drawing, schematic drawing. And that is main concern. And even your BIM cannot help it. PM cannot help it, because until we design that, like we design HVAC ducting routes, both routes, supply air or return air, or same way we take care of services, other services like plumbing. We have to be little detailed understanders. No, not we are not going to learn something that we doesn't fit in. You can write statements, you can write articles, you can write books, whatever you write, but what is required is independent, individually activity based coordination, making sure before doing job that this job can be done. We have complete information, and what information missing, we have tried to get in it with us, or with not with us. That's why I say we should not blindly, we have to think of ourselves first. Everybody has capacity, everybody's mind. Of course, level mind or higher level mind, that's not point here. We have to therefore understand that BIM is not first level requirement. First level requirement is first fixes of services. In electrical services, we have first fixes like we have conduiting, means wiring route within concrete and without concrete as well. So that is first requirement, and you will not find it in a perfect way. Conduiting is not measured in dimension wise. This is square by this is square within this, because it depends on how do you want to run, how do you want to show, and everybody wants, ordinary clear processes. How shall be done, and it's not clear. So we can say first fix in electrical is also not that much strong. It depends on how do you guide which, how, what should be band off, should band, what should be junction box location, how these affect architectural or decoration. It's not only structure but also decoration important. Same way, you are from good family or from very light family, that should be another point. It's not only first fix and electrical, it's also first fix and HVAC, ducting routes, design of ducting, first is route and design of this. What section you need for this duct, that depends on design. How you want to take this route, what the services are running there, and that way we can say. So we have to take all these points into our consideration. It's very much required. Look, first fix, those cannot be done at the same time, but it must be kept in mind. Drawings which are designed by electrical engineers, by HVAC engineers, by other engineers, these do not have solid data, just schematic drawings, these are there. And then who is applicator, who is subcontractor, that person starts working on these drawings, and that person cannot just work blindly. That person first tries to draw. Of course, routes is given in your schematic drawing itself, but that is not important. You have to follow that only. Clashes means those mean no clash, because design is not available, duct design is not available, section wise was not available, and also complete design of structure may be available, but we are not studied, that person has not studied. So you can say coordination is required there, and this is not only structural mechanical coordination or HVAC coordination, it's also, you can say, electromechanical coordination, electrical and you can say HVAC machines input, or it's called compatibility, or we can call interfaces, should work successfully, should be important. Means we cannot say which machines is going to be brought in, or what shall be parameter of that machine, particular parameter that are interrelated to electrical requirement. And same way, the plumbing is different. Plumbing water supply, so that's different one, and that can be calculated easily. Because electrical is not easy to calculate except we know something about that, what kilowatt it is, not more than that. We have to be very serious about this point. We cannot simply jump on from one place to another place thinking everything's fine, it's okay. So that's why I try to tell something about BIM, though I not used it, and I'm not convinced well what this author has said. I'm not criticizing that, but everything cannot be done keeping in view nothing. There's no problem. Just one, you can say perspective. The perspective can say this model, that model cannot be mixed up. First of all, we should know model. Only then we can say model is not available, or plan is not available. How can we say that can be done successfully? It's question of interpretation, question of construction of one things. Today what we think of some world doesn't matter. Europe thinks same way, or America thinks same way. No, they don't think so. It's a very important point we have to be careful about. That's why I say same problem occurs in ceilings, false ceilings. Always you'll find false ceiling areas. Above false ceiling, I mean that planum, which is imaginary ceiling. You can say false ceiling is also imaginary because a real ceiling is a slab. But we have to provide false ceiling because we have to fix lights also in those false ceiling tiles, 60 by 60 or 600 by 600. We have to fix diffusers. Of course, they are small. We have to fix everything there. Everything. And we do that. It's important. Means until and unless we have clear conception of avoiding clashes. There were, I've seen many instances used to complain our support. HVAC used to say, this electrical engineer, he does not know even what's required. No, point is also that it is time consuming. Really, you have to go through drawings that vendor has produced first. You cannot simply say I am sending it for engineer's approval. First you should approve yourself. But it happens that people are not impressed very much. No, this coordination explain to you your the software may not explain. It says BIM, building information modeling coordinator, is a relatively ambiguous one, as I say. I think which may refer to coordinator or several coordinators working together installed within the project or organization, whose responsibilities could be included. What are those? As I earlier tell you, develop and maintain BIM protocols, which is a high level study, and BIM execution plans and other documentation. Ensure protocols are adhered to. So this managing data sets, coordinate stakeholders. So that's also ensuring accuracy of models and data sets. This is all infant actually. Designs are not ready. And then also clash detection and clash avoidance. You want to detect every clash there when it's not work. It's a construction work, it's not a machine work actually. Then preparing a mic coordination program and progress. Okay, it's all general, providing training and accessories, nothing to sourcing and maintenance versus sourcing and maintaining model content where there are shared data and inter-model relationships, making sure that these are recorded and monitored, coordinating data mode modeling and related concrete structures. So sourcing and maintaining model content where there are shared data and intermodal relationship, making sure that these are recorded and monitored. And then this source and maintaining model content, which sourcing and maintaining model content, okay. Coordinating data modeling and related management and licensing with design team and client, coordinating handover. So these are all very general and I don't think so will get anything. Now what is actually BIM design coordination? Now, design is a process of creating a solution. Design is a process of creating a solution to project brief and then preparing instructions allowing that solution to be constructed. Building design is typically a multidisciplinary, we all know that. But it's nothing to explain again and again. I think it involves, as I said, architectural work, structural work, services work together. A knowing number of different designs, such as all these discipline designs, and this should be cleared in a clear professional way. And architects, engineers, so on, working together to create a single holistic solution. Problems can occur about where there could be certain missing information. Problems can be there, you cannot say no. Problems can happen with something is missing information you have. Or you can say poorly communicated information, or which we cannot understand due to non-clarical or not clear approach, and inconsistency between among documents, poor resources and allocation, and also decision making among documents, decision, poor response to allocation, poor. It's very important point because it tells us we should be first of all clear. There may be problems and we shouldn't worry about problems if we can solve it. Problems are not of that nature that only you solve it. So what happens is that coordination is actually lower level coordination where you will find interest. It's all superficial they are talking of. We have to see each problem at site, in office, and only then we can call it. Two covers I've seen, these ceramic covers of khaki color. Now, that is another way. First, I have to talk these fixes, and fixes are very important. Now, these difficulties have become more prevalent. These difficulties have become more prevalent as buildings have become more technically oriented. These difficulties have become more prevalent as buildings have become more technically oriented. Range of varying products and materials has increased. Standards and regulations have become stricter, and of course, availability of a greater number of persons involved. So I say these difficulties become more prevalent as buildings have become more technicalities oriented. Range of varying products and materials has increased. Of course, every component, every material maybe have different style, different fixes policy, and materials has increased, products and materials has increased. Standards and regulations have become stricter. And of course, availability of a greater number of specialist designers also add to that problem. And immaturity sometimes also add to that. Actually, that's the important point. So we can say that's why coordination is a little different. Sometimes we do not even understand what author wants or what designer wants. And there should be no shame in stating that because it's work by human beings. There is probability of every improvement. Sorry, design coordination is certainly a broad term. Is a broad term describing integration of designs. Design coordination is certainly a broad term describing integration of designs prepared by different members of project team to create a single unified set of information that can be constructed without any occurrence of clashes among various components of building. Let's say go somewhere else. Construction coordination. Let me see. Let me see. Google. Construction coordination. Construction Coordination Engineering Group. maybe I don't get anything from this, but let me see. Construction coordination, Castrol Engineering Group. What does it say? Construction coordination is essential for successful project delivery. Contractors provide construction management and control staffing, the sequencing and mains method of construction. We provide continuity for engineering execution to field, facilitate planning, resolve issue quickly, and ensure contractor accountability on behalf of client. So there are so many points. Actually, it is saying Castrol, and I like to show you. It's better for knowledge sake. What does it say? It says something. It's only list, I think it's showing, not something else. It's only 2 pages, so I like to read it for you. Castle Group. Says very clear here. Construction coordination is essential for successful project delivery. Contractors provide construction management and control staff, sequencing and means methods of construction. We provide continuity from engineering execution to field, facilitate planning, resolve issues quickly, and ensure contractor accountability on behalf of contract client. Now, what are points they consider? Construction coordination services include services means this is a professional job. Pre-construction planning, first is that pre-construction planning, and I'm not taken this here. Let me see. I actually want to say there's nothing. No, it's not giving any details on this. No problem. So let us see what does it mean by that. Let's say how does it say that file is now pre-construction planning, of course, pre-construction planning, so preparation of construction, you can say. Safety coordination and management is another point. Contracting strategy definition, and construction execution plan development, site facilities planning, construction sequence and logistics planning, RFI program implementation and resolution, then interface management planning, quality assurance and control, cost and schedule management is saying, and then of course continuously it goes to material control, procurement support, field control administration, field document control management, inspection coordination, client representation. So we have seen again, you know what's pre-construction planning, that's not big deal. We have to do, you see, a lot work before that construction starts, and particularly in lump sum cases, and you have to do everything before plan. But when you do, that's different point, but before plan you have to do, you have to do responsibility of every aspect. So we say pre-construction planning, safety coordination and management. This is also very important, safety coordination, and this coordination is for work as well as for workers. Safety for work as well as for workers, and that is an important point. And of course, you have to deal it with management as well. And then contracting strategy definition, lump sum or whatever type you do it, that you can define yourself. That's not a big deal. It's all term itself saying. Then we have contracting strategy definition, and then we have construction execution plan, and that's a very important point. It's not construction statement I'm saying, it's a construction execution plan, which is actually also a part of, which actually becomes a part of technical statement or technical submission along with commercial submission of bid. But that is also very common, that execution plan. It depends on what sort of project it is. It's building project, or it's facilities plan project, or it's infrastructure project, civil lines. Every stage is different. How do you want to do it? This execution plan clearly says what procedures you have to adopt, how you will do it. That means it should be executed, so start till the end, it should be executed properly. That is construction execution plan development, which starts with mobilization and surveys. Mobilization continues, then it says many things. How shall we start doing jobs without approvals, or how the approval, and further activities, and then of course later in time, the day, the night, that how best we can impact these people. That is very bad time. We should not do that. We cannot understand that. So this is construction execution plan. Then is facilities planning and site facilities. Means you can say your site facilities means you have to provide your offices, you have to provide camping if required, you have to provide certain workshops on site, like yards, steel fixing, steel fabrication yards, or you can say carpentry shop, or welding area, or some other area where it's required, which all must be available in that site. You call it self-spacing site. It's fine, we have to understand very well. Means construction facilities means workers facilities, staff facilities, engineers facilities, and also consultant facilities. It's not a crime. We build. So construction site facilities planning, and we have construction sequence and logistic planning. That's also an important point. Construction sequence and logistic planning, and we have RFI program, and interface management planning, and quality assurance, and all these are, you can say, wherever you can say services is meaningful everywhere, in materials, in field contract, in field document control, inspection, in client representative. Everywhere we have something to add to this. And I'll take closer of this file because it's over. I don't need this anymore. And we can then say, okay, that situation is here. We have to go. So I say what we talk of is here. We can say here is it's quality file. I was taking this. So we go to again coordination issue here. Again we go to that. Here it is 46% right. Now design coordination is certainly a broad term. So it's a broad term describing integration of designs prepared by different members of project team to create a unified set of information that can be constructed without any occurrence of clashes among various components. It's very much true that we have to consider every design, and we have to consider a relation of that design to other design. If it works, it's fine. If you find some problem, you have to reshape that. And that's the only way to deal with. And then we have to say effective design coordination can help. Effective design coordination can help to reduce costs, delays, and disruption that can be caused by problems on site and need for removal, remedial, or about to works and redesign. And it's very important. And there can be innumerable issues involved on sites. Sometimes these issues are very small but very important, and we have to go through complete data of contract, what it says. It's a part of coordination process. You have to know what's to be done. As coordinator, one has to check it, make it sure what ground is available. You can say design coordination is certainly a very important point in that way. Design coordination is certainly a very broad term describing integration of designs prepared by different members of project team to create a single unified set. This single unified set is very important, and actually that is working drawings results, or you may call it coordinated services drawing. So we can say single unified set of information that can be constructed without any occurrence of clashes between among various components. Effective design coordination. Effective design coordination can help to reduce costs, delays, and disruption. Of course, when you delay some work, cost is affected, and you also can say disruption comes in to happen. Disruption that can be caused by problems on site, that site and need for remedial measures. We can say whatever abortive work you have to do or remedial work you have to do, and face and redesign. It's in its broader sense, design coordination can be simply mean entrusting, ensuring that designers understand about what they are responsible for, and in particular who is responsible for interfaces and junctions between different design methods. So, in a more specific sense, you can say design coordination can refer to actual process of ensuring that design solutions can be integrated in particular mechanical, electrical, and plumbing works. Usually call it MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing designs, which has all these disciplines permeate what is used, permeate through entire building, are frequently source of coordination problems, It says considering volume of building and services that are provided in that building schematically is required to be transformed to practical requirement. So we can start actually now, to be very frank. This is particularly true for complex buildings, and that is a very important point. Complex buildings, such as hospitals. Hospital is very important one, and I've done it, and I've seen a multitude of coordination requirements there, and many works were delayed because of lack of coordination. I still remember many points. Structures had many defects itself, as in many buildings. Defective works of structures, and you can say it is trying to conceal that. But these 2 points came in the picture. In the picture. Now we have to see that hospital building. As I said, we need oxygen, we need other gases, and we need the call buttons. We need to call medical staff at every bed. We need, so many precautionary measures. It's after all hospital, which is even more value in ventilation. If you do like that, yes, don't think yes, not for you. So this is, as I said, hospital buildings. We have so much utilities in basement also. It is natural every hospital must have basement because basement is full continuous, and so many equipment, so many utilities can be provided there. All equipments, all machines, and all records. It's not big deal. We can do this very carefully. There's no problem. You can see this. I'll give you a note also of this later. I find it's also. So we have to see many points in hospital buildings. We have many utilities in basement. We have many utilities on roof itself. I have seen so many utilities in basement, and there's a connection of utilities in basement to service building somewhere else. Connection is there. You can say tunnel connection and passage type. You can go there using this, and then say triangle tomography. You can say you have utilities tunnel. This goes to service area, and service building itself is having many services like the switch gears and transformers, and it has many other machines. It has overrunning services, the controls, and the complete set of buildings. Fine, well. Uh, No, we can say we have not seen any major coordination that is done on hospitals. Long item, many items. Not one, not two. We have to see many items. Internal coordination, external coordination, roof coordination, floor coordination, basement coordination, room coordination, and so many equipments are available there. You can say on walls, so many facilities are provided. You can say there is no limit, in fact, and it's very important work. And of course, there are drywall linings in those services moved. So you can say it's too much. In fact, if you cannot coordinate properly in such structures, you cannot build them proficiently. That's the important point. Proficiently built up is very important in such structures, such buildings. Structure may be easy, but coordination may not be easy. And for that purpose, people do not understand coordination. They don't make any records. They don't do anything, and then they suffer later on. And when many services are implied, it also impacts on electrical consumption. I still remember when the person was calculating electrical loads on this, it's about 18,000 to 12,000. You can say 18,000 kilowatt. 18,000, so 18,000 kilowatt is a huge requirement of power and supplies. So if we take risk and we do not care about this, we can face problems everywhere. And it happened that there was that in between there some pumps were provided, chiller pumps, many pumps were provided, and plinths were they had already some. These pumps were just lying outside, and I said, why don't you install this? So this is no problem, some space, and actually there was a problem. This problem, and we tried to do that solution out. Like with many other problems for that size and sequence. I can't do that. That's a very important point. Means utility services externally are also very important. Internal services are very important because you're dealing with basements. So basement cannot start, so you have to provide some water in field. And we had to see roofing arrangements, chillers, plantation, all services, whatever in utilities, external utilities also very important point aside. It's not that blindly you close everything. I think Coordination, in fact, is an engineering job, very important job. We have to understand at least functional requirements of this building, of these items. That's important. You may say that I have taken from trademark. Yes, you have taken from same trademark, but trademark is bigger than last ones. Just like we say, this points particular truth in complex buildings and such as details there may be great number of buildings, services that are required to be installed in relatively confined spaces. Clashes may be hard clashes. For root, okay, now we go to there are many number of procedures that can be adopted, many number of procedures that can be adopted and appointments made to help minimize clashes and show proper coordination if it's done. And that's what is a very important point here. We have to see how it's done. Typically, where there is a multidisciplinary design team, a lead designer should be appointed as coordinator whose role includes integrating different aspects of design and respective interfaces, and who's wearing secret and how so there are a number of procedures that can be adopted and appointments made to help minimize clashes and ensure proper implementation. If I understand this point, if I am able to explain to you successfully, I think coordination shall be achieved gradually. We should think of coordination rather just pushing job. If residence is right, pointed, there's many objectives with it. Typically, where there is a multidisciplinary design team, a lead designer should be appointed whose role includes integrating different aspects of design and respective interfaces. into oral design. Amongst those may include ensuring collaborative practices are adopted, coordinating quality control system. Ensuring collaborative practices are adopted, coordinating quality control systems, adopting standard methods and procedures, coordinating preparation and issue of you can say. Let me put on this voice. So integrating different aspects of designs and respective interfaces into several designs. Amongst other things, this may involve ensuring collaborative practices are adopted, coordinating quality control system, adopting standards, methods and procedures, coordinating preparations and issue of production information to contractors and suppliers, reviewing design prepared by contractors and suppliers, then where there are a number of different specialist contractors or suppliers involved in later stages of designs, in particular during the overall design, during particular that during lead designer should during where's that gone a technical design stage, a design coordinator may be appointed to oversee coordination and integration of those designs. In some cases, design leader or manager may be appointed. Now, what historically it says, historically design leaders emerge in contractor organizations. Contractor organizations, they started undertaking a portion of design which involved respective specialist subcontractors. However, it has come to be used in a wider sense. In a wider sense, you can say. It has to be used in a wider sense, describing a manager within enabling and coordinating role, but does not act as designer itself. Coordination role, coordination designer rather than real designer. Process of actually verifying design coordination still sometimes relies on manual techniques for cross-checking information with transparent drawings overlaid to identify potential conflicts. CAD can replicate this process on the screen, allowing drawings prepared by different designers to be compared. Now, building information modeling involves creating and managing digital information for design, construction and operation of built assets. BIM can help ensure that collaborative practices are adopted and standard methods and procedures used, and that designers are contractually obliged to provide specific information at specific stages of project. One benefit of adopting BIM is potential for better avoidance of clashes. That is, it can help ensure that there exists spatial coordination between different components. Now, it's okay, but ultimately, final work is to be done by individual involvement rather than computer involvement. Or we can say building information model may also be broken down into volumes. Volumes allow more than one person to work. So it's same thing, We can say here clash avoidance and clash detection must therefore be carried out as an integral part of entire process. Ultimately, we have to see that our work should be clear of every problem. You can say from defining standard methods or procedures and establishing a BIM volume, so we can say coordination volume, strategy through specialist designs and creation of a virtual construction method. So there will be other clashes as well. Clash detection software can identify clashes between individual model and generate a classic report, but should it work properly? Hence, we cannot say, it says, however, this should not be relied upon as proof, or can say fail safe. I won't fail. You can't say that. Because however, this should not be relied upon as a fail safe check and should not be used to justify poor design coordination process. And a formation manager may be appointed, now leave it now. Minute deliberations, that is also important here. We are going to take care of that. And before that, we can say now, actually I'm very feeling cold. I don't know what's the reason. That is heat temperature, how much now? It's again 11, that's why I'm feeling cold, my goodness. You see, it was 14 that time when I started my activity, around 3:30, 3:40. And now it is 11, so 3-degree drop, or that temperature was wrong. It's the right one. You can say dew point is 7 degrees. And oh my, that's the problem here. Dew point is 7 degrees, so that's the problem. And 11 degrees, so that's why I'm feeling very cold. So I cannot say, well, let's move. Let me find something else on coordination. Let us say project coordination. Let me see if I can see some more material on this issue. Always welcome. So this is project coordination. Project coordination is the management of tasks within your department. Purpose of coordinating project is the streamlined workflow of your tasks. Okay, what's project coordination and how does it work? What is project coordination in study.com? Project coordination involves managing day-to-day operations. What does project coordination do? Project coordination job description, that's not important. Project coordination home and coordination project management. Job description template. I think something reliable. What's reliable? Let me see. Career development is project management is process of leading work of a team to achieve all project goals within given constraints. This information is usually described in project documentation created at beginning of development process. And we can say, let us say, what does it say? Project management process of leading work of a team. So I'm talking of not actually, I'm talking of project coordination. How it has gone to management, I do not know. I'm talking of project coordination, and it's important. This work is important, and it comes as something. Let me see, what is project coordination? And this project coordination, let me see. I have to see again and again so many issues here. It says, project coordination. This is 21 year now. What does it work? The question is that developing your project coordinating skill can be valuable to any career or the position that you may be interested in. Employers seek solid project management and coordination qualifications in applications because this experience proves several key capabilities in communication, organization, and troubleshooting in this article. Okay, what is project coordination? Project coordination is day-to-day management of tasks within your department. The purpose of coordinating projects is to streamline workflow of your task. A project leader or manager informs employees about those responsible for each section of project and dictate deadlines. Key benefits are effective project coordination can maximize your team's performance. Can say has some key benefits: communicating areas of importance and priority, streamlining communication, increasing a project's productivity and its quality, staying on schedule and in budget, minimizing risks, streamlining communication. Likewise, I think I should show you this is better. I try to avoid it, but let me show you what is given because you should get some information on this. It's net page, so it doesn't matter. It's not PDF. Now I'm getting this print out for you so that you can see very well. Something's better than nothing, and so sometimes we'll look into that how best we can use it, and that's where I can say, let's say, let me say this. This is your PDF form here, and we can say it now. Sorry. So it is telling here what is project coordination and how does it work. So it is that one, as I said already. That is said already this. Now I said developing project coordinating skill can be valuable to whatever career or position that one may be interested in. Employers seek solid project management and coordination qualifications in applicants because this experience proves several key capabilities in communication, organization, troubleshooting. So what is coordination? It says project coordination is key, is day-to-day organization of tasks. I'm saying management, not, but I'm saying organization. That's important. Project. I replace many words during speech itself. You don't mind it. Project coordination is that day-to-day organization of tasks within department. Purpose of which is to streamline workflow of your task. A project leader informs employees about the responsibility of each section of a project and its deadlines. In this role, one might also be required to have meetings or minute meetings. Documentation is important information employees can use for their experience. Key benefits of project coordinations are because effective project coordination can minimize minimize your team's performance in workplace. You can say maximize team's performance. And says there are some key benefits: communicating areas of of importance. It is one point here, and with that. There's streamlining communication. One is communicating areas of importance. Streamlining communication, increasing a project's productivity, and and you can say staying on schedule and within budget, minimizing risk, enhancing clients' feedback, and communicating areas of importance and priority is communicating areas of importance and priority helps complete task successfully, and that is communicating areas of importance. A leader can underline company's strategy and discuss how project ties in with company's goals step by step, and all members of team can in turn speak with one another to answer whatever questions they have for clarity, to gaining clarity. Streamlining communications, coordinator can establish methods of communication of the team in efficient way, and ability to communicate information efficiently can help prioritize project in whatever way. Where good communication skills can be used for that purpose, increasing a project productivity and quality, that is increasing projects, increasing a project's productivity and quality. This is a properly coordinated project, a properly coordinated project strategy. मैं तो बैठा हूँ, अभी उठिए लेकिन नहीं आ रही उसको, थकी हुई नींद नहीं आ रही उसको। एकदम 3 डिग्री टेम्परेचर गिरा है, जो 14 से 11 हो गया। 14 से जब मैं बैठा था 11 हो गया, जब मैं बैठा था 14 से 3 बजे अब 11 है। 3 डिग्री गिर गया बैठे बैठे। Okay, so what we got here is something that we discussed: increasing a project support TMC. So that is what is important here. We have to see that, and it's in fact interesting to note like this. What we have to see that we can close it down now, and we can say that this is our file here. And increasing projects productivity and quality, a properly coordinated project strategy promotes better quality, you see, about output and more productive workflow by organizing and assigning specific tasks to team members. Project manager can ensure that each task is being done critically at micro level. Each team member has its own responsibility. That point we have to understand. Staying on schedule within budget, that's another point. Minimizing risk, enhancing client feedback, and what are stages of project coordination, and that is definition, initiation, planning, execution. And of course we can say monitoring and control, job responsibilities. Likewise we can say job responsibilities here, and it is overseeing administration tasks like this. Then we have to see other also. We can read more on this. We'll see that article later on, but now we have to see this, so we can discuss it later on also. Now we can say closer is customers final approval, so that's another one. And also execution, monitoring and control, and we have to see all this. It's all, I think, we should do in a proper way. We will explain them one by one, and it's also important that we have to save this file, of course. File save as, and I'm going to save it in method statements. That is, what I say is this is coordination, you can say. So I will take it coordination for me. So we can say coordination. I will discuss it last time. We add more to this, that, and let's say okay, fine. Now I take on this down, so I close this page. Now what quality issue? As it says, quality as as I said, engineering profession, we require to establish it permanently, as we discussed. In engineering profession is also the walks of life, and that's also important here. We have to see. I have to take water. So we have to fix quality. This country, in our country, come what may. This is why I say fix quality in Bharat, India. Come what may, no excuse for concessions. Work quality cannot be compromised. It's quality viewpoint, and therefore we do not intend to compromise. हाँ जी डॉक्टर साहब, थोड़ा पी लेता हूँ मैंने कहा।
घूमने चल रहे हो?
नहीं, आप ही जाओ डॉक्टर साहब।
अभी बाद में जाओगे?
हाँ, अभी ताला लगा हुआ है, खोलना है, ताला खोलना पड़ेगा ना। ताला खोलूंगा अभी।
खोल दो। ये छोटे
हाँ,
छोटा वाला तो खुला होगा।
ये सारे बंद है, अभी खोलता हूँ ना ताला।
अभी खोला नहीं, पीलो।
अंधेरा है ना अभी, अभी अंधेरा है ना।
अच्छा।
नीचे से लास्ट नीचे वाला है।
मजा आता है बस।
हम्म?
मजा आता है। फर्स्ट क्लास वेदर बढ़िया हो रहा है।
हाँ बहुत बादल हो रहे हैं, बादल हो रहे हैं, बादल।
हाँ सॉरी, ये बादल बरसेंगे ना तो बरसात वो आएगी ना।
हैं?
ये बादल बरस जाएगी तो ठंड हो जाएगी फिर।
ठंड तब हो गई, मतलब 11 है इस टाइम, 10-9 है अभी।
कितना है?
11 बता रहे हैं, 10 के आसपास होगा, 10-9।
अच्छा,
सुबह 3 बजे 14 था, अब 10 हो गया।
अब ठंडा हो गया।
हाँ हाँ।
चलो बादल आ गए।
हैं? कमरे में होगा और कहाँ होगा?
हैं?
कमरे में रखा होगा आपने, कहीं बाहर तो गई नहीं है।
लाया था।
रात को लाए थे कि नहीं?
हाँ हाँ लाया।
कार में रह गया होगा।
गाड़ी में ही है।
नहीं मिला?
अभी आएगा। अभी आएगा।
खोल देता हूँ पहले आपका गेट, गेट खोल दो पहले आपका मैं। हाँ? गाड़ी में लगे, गाड़ी में। डॉक्टर साहब भूल गए आप भी आजकल, आप भी भूल जाते हो।
देखो बुढ़े मारने में क्या हाल है। ये क्या है ना, मैं कल लाया बुढ़े उसको बुलाता हूँ, वो भी आएगा।
घूमेगा सुबह,
नहीं वो कह रहा है
ऐसे कैसे?
दिखाऊंगा, जब उसने मेरे को बोला है मैं दिखाऊंगा। अच्छा, तो आ जाओ आप भी, तो क्या हो रहा है?
Sorry, gentlemen, what to do? Disturbance and disturbance. Only disturbance.